What's up, guys? I'm DK Wrestler, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the recent leaks / rumors for the Pop Digital lineup. So let's get right to it. So for today's video, it's going to be exactly like we did with the last set of rumored / leaked list, where we're going to be going through each of the different licensors one by one, talking about them overall, and basically predicting what the possible redeemable pops for the sets will be. So the first one we have here is for Mickey and Friends, and this one's pretty interesting considering that this will be the first Disney Funko NFT lineup. And this is also interesting because Disney has an exclusive NFT website that they have with, I believe it's called Vivi. So I wonder, did that agreement end, or will this be the first Funko NFT set outside of the Wax blockchain? But here is basically what I have listed down for the possible redeemable pops, starting off with the Grail, which basically is some sort of version of Mickey Mouse, whether it's kind of a classic version or maybe it's something that we've seen before like a Steamboat Willie. And then for the legendaries, I have some sort of version of Minnie Mouse, once again, whether it's a classic version or some sort of variant of her. Baby Donald Duck, because I know that Donald Duck is a huge part of Mickey and Friends, but we've seen a lot of Donald Ducks. Let's try and do something different like Baby Donald Duck. And then I have Pete listed here, considering that, believe it or not, Pete has not had a Funko Pop yet as terms to like Disney overall, besides the Kingdom Hearts video game, and then they did the Pete Funko Soda, and that is basically it. And then for the royalty, I have Freddy Funko as Pluto. I mean, this makes sense. They can basically kind of copy the mold they did for the Freddy Funko in Jake suit for the Adventure Time set that just recently released, so they basically can copy that and do Pluto. And if Pete doesn't happen, it's probably going to be some sort of version of Goofy, in my opinion. Up next, we have Jurassic Park. This one also makes sense considering this year is the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, and this was a little bit difficult considering I don't know too much about Jurassic Park. So the redeemable pop list I have here, starting off with the Grail, is a version of Dr. Alan Grant. I mean, the main character of Jurassic Park, so it makes sense. And the version I have is basically taking what they've done with the previous pops of him wearing with like the blue shirt, and I believe it's like a red bandana, except he's not wearing the hat this time. Originally, when I made this list, I wanted him to hold the flare. However, they've already basically done that with the T-Rex breakout moments that's exclusive to Target, so I wanted to stay away from that. So basically no hat, but copying what we have with that Target exclusive and the original. And then a standalone Ellie Statler for the legendary, considering that we've gotten a couple of Ellie pops, except one is the Triceratops moments they did as a Target exclusive, and then they did a pop rides where she's in the Jeep, I believe, but never a standalone pop, so I believe that could be a legendary. I think we're definitely going to be getting a Tyrannosaurus Rex. We've been getting even newer versions for the 30th anniversary lineup that are exclusives with like different color variants, so I think that's exactly what we're going to get here. I have Triceratops also for the legendaries, considering that we've only gotten the Triceratops as terms of that moments I just talked about with Ellie, but not a standalone one. And if there's no Triceratops, then I think it's going to be some sort of species of dinosaur that we've never had in Funko Pop form yet. And then for the royalty, if I'm so confident on at least one of the pops possibly being correct for this lineup, it has to be the royalty. And I think it definitely would be Freddy Funko as Dr. Ian Malcolm when he's wounded. I mean, we have seen different versions of Ian Malcolm wounded, like we've seen the Deadpool in that way. We've actually seen Conan in that attire, but we've never actually had a Freddy Funko in this kind of posing. So this is the time that Funko will probably do this, and if it's not this, then I have no idea what they would do for the royalty. Next up is the Funko Holiday 2023. This is actually something I predicted on a podcast that we did earlier in the year, predicting sets for 2023, where basically it's like the Halloween sets they do with Freddy Funko as certain Halloween characters, except now it is Christmas themed, which I really like the idea, and I think this was one of the easier ones for me to predict. So for this set, for the Grail, obviously it's got to be Freddy Funko as Santa Claus. It's going to be the most like fan favorite pop, so I feel like they would want that one to be the hardest to get out of the entire set, while the legendaries would be Freddy Funko as Elf, Reindeer, and a gingerbread Freddy Funko. And then the royalty, I have it as Freddy the Snowman. I think that seems to be a very fun royalty for people to get the other cards, obviously besides the legendaries and the Grails, to possibly work towards if maybe they don't want the other ones, even though I feel like a lot of people would want Freddy Funko as Santa Claus. And speaking of Halloween, Funko Halloween 2023. This definitely makes sense. Every year since they started making Funko NFTs, there's always been that Halloween set, and this will be technically the first set that has 3 waves. First off, for the Grail, I have the candy corn Freddy Funko as Frankenstein, and as you can see on the screen, a lot of these are from concepts that Funko already did as terms to previous sets of Funko NFTs, but never actually made pops of. And they've done the Funko Soda, I believe, of Candy Corn Freddy Funko Frankenstein, but they've never done the pop, but yet they did do a Frankenstein Freddy Funko regular version as a pop. Ghost Freddy Funko, which was seen in the first set of Funko NFTs for Halloween. The Mummy Freddy Funko, which has never been a pop, but was a soda in the first wave of Halloween. And then Freddy Funko in costume, which basically I took this idea from when you had the epic cards from the 2022 set and how he would dress up and then go in the closet and go into whatever the card is, whether it's a director or the Reaper or whatever. If you remember that card getting an epic from the recent Halloween set, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's basically taking that design, but that will be the royalty for Halloween 2023. Next up is Funko 25th Anniversary. Now, this one was a little bit weird because obviously Funko can't dive into a bunch of different licensors as terms to like celebrating 25 years. So I feel like this is going to be the least amount of redeemables that I have listed down because I feel like this is the most logical route to go. For the Grail, it's Brian Mariotti, the CEO. For the Legendary, which there will only be one, is Mike Becker, and then the royalty is a vintage Freddy Funko from the late 90s, early 2000s. I think this makes sense to be only a 3 pop wave, considering that it's a Funko made like set, and it will be just like what we've seen with the April Fool's set, where it's a created set and that they can't really make so many redeemables. So these will probably be some hard to find pieces compared to a lot of the redeemables, and will be very expensive on the secondary market. Next up, we have Steven Universe, a Cartoon Network series that I believe a lot of people were really hyped to see when it was basically leaked / rumored. I've only seen a few episodes, so I don't have much knowledge, but of course I did a little bit of research, and I think these possible redeemables could happen for this set. So first off, for the Grail, I have a Blacklight Garnet. We've seen a lot of Garnet pops, but this time it's just a color switch, so that would be cool for a Grail. For a Legendary, first we have Tiger Millionaire, which is basically, I believe, the wrestling persona of Steven Universe. So I think that'd be a cool version of Steven Universe that they can use as a Funko NFT redeemable pop. And then for 2 brand new characters, I have listed as Greg Universe, which is obviously Steven's dad, and then White Diamond, considering I believe we already had, I think it's Blue Diamond or Pink Diamond, I can't exactly remember, in the OG set of Steven Universe pops. And then for the royalty, I have Freddy Funko as Steven Universe. I mean, if you're gonna make the first Steven Universe Freddy Funko pop, I feel like obviously it's gotta be Steven Universe himself. Next up is Squid Game, which is a little bit surprising considering that I feel like at this point, Squid Game has kind of lost its hype that it once had a year or 2 ago when the series originally released, but I mean, season 2 is supposed to be coming out. So for the Grail, I have the Frontman, which actually has not had a pop yet. It's only had a Funko Soda figure. Then for the Legendaries, first I have Seong Ji-hoon, player 456. I can't exactly remember the number, but near the end of the season where he has red hair and he's basically being challenged to play the Squid Games again. And then we have Gong Yo, which I believe is, as you see in the photo, the recruiter that you see at the beginning of the series. And then Kwang Jun Ho, which is the detective that you see throughout the series. That, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Squid Game, is the front man's brother. So that'd be pretty decent as a Funko NFT. And then for the royalty, I thought Freddy Funko as OL Nam, the old man, number 001. And I think this is definitely doable considering that we've already seen Freddy Funko as the masked workers with 3 different helmets as terms to the Box of Fun, I believe last year or the year before. And we've already seen, I believe, Freddy Funko as Seong Ji-hoon. So there wasn't really much to choose from as terms to Freddy Funko involving with Squid Game, but I thought representing Old Il Nam, which is basically the fan favorite character of the series in this NFT, definitely makes sense for Freddy Funko. Next up, we have ourselves Back to the Future, one of my all-time favorite movie series, and I can definitely tell you that if this is true, this will indeed be the first set of Funko NFTs that not only will I be redeeming for myself, but I will be getting the master set. And for the set, as you can see on the screen, I'm going to go the same route as I actually predicted in that podcast I mentioned earlier, in which the grail for the set would be 1885 Marty McFly. And then for the legendaries, we have the 1885 Doc Brown, along with Clara Clayton, Griff Tannen, and then we have ourselves Lorraine Baines. More specifically, I'm hoping for it to be the Enchantment Under the Sea dance version of her from the first movie. And then for the royalty, I have Freddy Funko as Marty McFly, more specifically him at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance with the guitar in his hand. That would be pretty sweet. I had the one with the hoverboard earlier, but once again, I forgot that Freddy Funko as Marty McFly that way was done as a Box of Fun exclusive, so I couldn't choose that, and they've done Doc Brown already, so I thought this would be a cool version of Marty McFly to use for Freddy Funko. And then the last licensor listed is Stranger Things, which probably is the most hyped set of Funko NFTs throughout these leaks/rumors, and this was very difficult but kind of easy to predict at the same time. So I think what's easy to predict is that there's going to be an 11 in this set, and I've listed it as the Grail, considering that 11 is Funko's most produced character as terms to the Stranger Things lineup, and I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with her, considering they have made a lot of 11 pops. And then as terms to the legendaries, I do think there will be a Dustin, because Dustin would be next in line as the next highest produced character as terms to Funko Pops for the Stranger Things set. And then I have here Karen Wheeler from season 3, where she's in her bathing suit, and I'm sure that it's not just me that probably once you've seen this episode, you were definitely thirsty as so, I mean, if you weren't, you're definitely lying right now. But nonetheless, I think having a standalone Karen Wheeler instead of the 2-pack with Billy from San Diego Comic-Con, I believe in 2018, would be really cool. I have listed the Mind Flayer because we actually have not had a pop in the Stranger Things lineup of Mind Flayer yet. We've had one in the Dungeons and Dragons lineup. And then I have Murray from season 2. And then for the royalty, I have Freddy Funko as Vecna. I mean, I couldn't really think of anything else. They've already done Dustin. I believe they've done the Upside Down Will, and they've done, I believe, 11 in a couple of different versions, so there wasn't really much to choose from. They have done Steve Harrington, so yeah, that's another one off the list. So I thought, you know what, let's go with Vecna. Obviously, the head mold will look a bit better than what I've kind of constructed on the photo you're looking at right now, but nonetheless, that would probably be a solid set of Funko Pops there, and definitely would have a huge set like 6 or possibly 7 redeemables. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.